I am going to be supporting this bill. I do not believe it is unconstitutional. You know, and I love the fact that we have a republic and the freedom to have our own views, and that's what's happening here on the floor today. And one of the things that few have spoken about, Madam President, is the fact that not only in our Constitution is the legislative body granted the authority to appropriate, but our Constitution grants the authority to our governor to execute the laws. A previous legislature put in place disaster laws, and in Alaska Statute 2623050C, it actually gives the governor the ability to receive and spend funds from all sources. So I do not believe that this action today is unconstitutional. I also want to clear something up, because we are quite restricted in the dollars coming through the CARES Act. There were strings attached, Madam President. There were very particular things that had to be funded that you or I might not have chosen. We might have preferred to take that money and plug it in somewhere else, but we didn't have that ability. We are restricted. And in addition, there's also confusion out there because, and I was personally disturbed when I initially saw that roughly $600 million was going to what I thought was local governments and $300 million to small businesses. And that seemed flipped to what it should be based on what's happening. And then as I studied it and I reviewed some of the guidelines coming down from the U.S. Treasury, I realized, no, the $600 million is not for local governments. It's for communities. It is for communities. And those communities should be looking at their local economies. They will only be able to thrive, those local governments, if their communities and their economies are thriving. They have full ability to administer assistance to small businesses and undergird their economies. And that is the purpose. And as I've stated before, I would rather my mayor, the city of Palmer, Mayor Edna DeVries, a very good conservative woman, I would rather her figure out where to direct some of those funds than a bureaucrat in Juneau, a state bureaucrat somewhere. So I just want the public to know that by supporting this, we actually are supporting our private sector. We are supporting our small businesses. And there are very clear guidelines. If you go to the frequently asked questions from the U.S. Treasury, it lays that out, that those are what those funds are intended for. So I just want the public to know that, that it can go that way. And in fact, in the last few weeks, I've had several, I think 2 or 3 Zoom calls with 3 different chambers. I have 3 different chambers that kind of intersect my district. And in those conversations with business owners, we've talked about this aspect. And in this last round of Zoom chamber meetings, I was learning from the business owners that they were successfully having conversations with their local governments about the assistance, these funds being used for that. So I would just put a call out to those business owners across the state to be in touch with their local governments, make sure that that happens, because it is within the parameters of the funds that are coming to the communities. So I just want to make that clear, because there has been some confusion as far as statements that have been made. This money is to undergird the economy. It is economic relief funds that are coming. And an appropriation process would have dragged this out. And I do believe what we're doing here is constitutional, Madam President.